black and I'm proud. Black and I'm proud, black and I'm proud, yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. Black and I'm proud, black and I'm proud, yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. Moving the crowd, black and I'm proud, yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. Black and I'm proud, black and I'm proud, yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. Black and I'm proud, black and I'm proud, yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. Black and I'm proud, black and I'm proud, yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. Moving the crowd, black and I'm proud, yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. Black and I'm proud, black and I'm proud, yeah. I just be spitting the truth. Watch it, they say I go too far. How could we open a school when y'all still hating on Umar? How you be claiming you conscious? They're just nonsense, they just pompous. They just be running their lips, but never show what they accomplished. Claiming they scholars on YouTube, sounding the same, I'm like Kuzu. Spending their money on new shoes. Spiritual pimps, I rebuke you. I'm Pan-African, hands trafficking, books by Amos Wilson. I'm indigenous and I'm Sabayean, so my enemies are them pilgrims. Black and I'm proud. Black and I'm proud, black and I'm proud, yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. Black and I'm proud, black and I'm proud, yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. Moving the crowd, black and I'm proud, yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. Black and I'm proud, black and I'm proud, yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. Black and I'm proud, black and I'm proud, yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. Black and I'm proud, black and I'm proud, yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. Moving the crowd, black and I'm proud, yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. Black and I'm proud, black and I'm proud, yeah. I free the souls that they lobotomize, caged up to get no bill that gets atomized. They assassinate or we idolize. Yama Kiyama, I'm liberated. Demonic forces get obliterated. Bring it to where you get situated. Leave your mental capitulated. Word perfect, I'm a rap merchant. Finna cut the grass on these black serpents. Conjure the spirit of set. Pick up the card and attack. Scarab just hang from my neck. Amulet, heal and protect. Horus is all in my flesh. Rapping as if I'm possessed. Talk about it, plus I walk about it. Phony rappers, they squawk about it. Check out the chorus, indigenous Moorish. I'm Horus, like bring no hawk about it. You doubt it, I bet. I bet a segment. The secret best kept. Dollar bills bring you jet. They figure we dummies, no way. Selling they souls for their pay. I pray the devil away. I bring the power, I shake. I go Obi, Ogu told me, bring my sword and sash. Yes, it's time to free your mind, so fill my shrine with cash. Black and I'm proud. Black and I'm proud, black and I'm proud, yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. Black and I'm proud, black and I'm proud, yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. Moving the crowd, black and I'm proud, yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. Black and I'm proud, black and I'm proud, yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. Black and I'm proud, black and I'm proud, yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. Black and I'm proud, black and I'm proud, yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. Moving the crowd, black and I'm proud, yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. Black and I'm proud, black and I'm proud, yeah.
Abibifahoodie, Abibitumi, Hotep, Alafia, Shalom, Assalamu Alaikum, and Black laws for all Black people. Good morning, brothers and sisters, and first-time listeners as well as first-time viewers. Welcome to another edition of the Sonic Ngoma on Due to Knowledge Radio. We're happy and blessed to have you with us. Once again, I am host Oba Oláyínká, along with the other host of the show, Brother Khamuo Heru, and Brother Farugh Maat. We are a unified body of concerned people, visual artists, musicians, business owners, researchers, truth seekers, teachers, and healers. Our goal is to create dialogue surrounding music, culture, and politics as it relates to African people's sovereignty and autonomy, as well as economic empowerment. Here represented as the Urban Shamans Productions, the Afrikan Independence Day Organizing Committee, and Be Mayat Incorporated. Before we jump into today's topic, we want to let you know that part of the Sonic Ngoma radio broadcast is brought to you by the Urban Shamans Productions, the Afrikan Independence Day Organizing Committee, Be Mayat Incorporated, Heru Custodial Maintenance and Home Renewal, and the Temple of the Black Messiah. And of course, Do the Knowledge Radio. Grand Risings, brothers and sisters, what's going on? Peace. Welcome to the Sonic Ngoma. What's going on, brothers? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's good? What's good? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're glad to be with you once again this week. There's a lot going on, so I think that we should definitely get into our discussion. Of course, we have our guest, the one and only Garvey City's own, Wilmington, Delaware. The one and only Richard Raw with us, my brother. We are very, very, very happy to have you here with us this week.
It's an honor. It's an honor. And on time.
Well, we're honored. We're honored. We're honored to have you.
Yeah.
I think first we want to get into our upcoming event. Of course, you know, we are the Afrikan Independence Day Organizing Committee, consisting of myself, Brother Farugh, and Brother Khamuo. And we want to talk about Afrikan Independence Day virtual. Once again, Afrikan Independence Day virtual broadcast live on YouTube. It can be seen on the Urban Shamans Productions channel, as well as Due to Knowledge Radio. So it will be simulcast live from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., as well as we will have a pre-show that same day, Saturday, August the 1st. We will have a prelude to a show entitled Prelude to Afrikan Independence Day Maya Celebration 2020, right here on the Sonic Ngoma. And then we will be back on at from 4 to 8 p.m. for our Afrikan Independence Day, 16th annual Afrikan Independence Day Maya celebration right here on Due to Knowledge Radio, as well as the Urban Shamans Productions channel on YouTube. So, Brother Khamuo, you want to elaborate a little bit more on that?
Oh yeah, this is going to be something new, but it's going to be something special. We're going to do a early today on the Sonic Ngoma show. We're going to just do a playback. You know, we're just going to take, for those who haven't participated with Afrikan Independence Day, who couldn't be in the city to participate, you get a chance to have firsthand view of some of the speakers, some of the performers, such as Richard Raw. And, you know, we're just going to take a walk down memory lane and see, you know, who we had participate with throughout the year. Later on that day, as Oba said, we're going to have a live broadcast and we're going to have some special guests. We should have some family plan engagement. So this is an opportunity to bring the children. They can participate with what we're doing. Some activities. We're planning on doing some activities as it relates to the Junkanu, the prelude to Afrikan Independence Day. As usually, we do the Junkanu procession down 52nd Street. So we're going to have some people who participated with that event. And, you know, it's just going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. So, you know, stay tuned.
We have a lot of guests for you. As Brother Khamuo said, we'll be taking a trip back down memory lane in our prelude to Afrikan Independence Day Maya Celebration show. For the last 5 years, we have footage of some of the best of our speakers and performers who have graced the stage at Afrikan Independence Day over the past 5 years since we restarted it back in 2015. Of course, Afrikan Independence Day has been going on now, coming up on 16 years, but we are going to take the best of the last 5 years and we are going to highlight that during our prelude show. And of course, from 4 to 8 p.m., we are going to have guest speakers, the likes of, give a shout out to my good brother Amin, and his wife, his queen, Mama Nkoyo, who do He Say, She Say right here on Due to Knowledge Radio every first and third Friday of the month, of the Uhuru Academy, based now in South Carolina. Shout out to them, Black Power. Much love to you all. We will have the likes of Brick the Foundation will be performing, as well as Raka Musa of Kazi Gang. We will have Queen Jazara perform, as well as Ife Jai will be performing. And those are just a few. So, you know, we're still, you know, getting, you know, some people together. But the headline Afrikan Independence Day this year as far as some of our speakers and our performers. One speaker that we cannot go without mentioning, we have the honor of having the one and only Baba Mwalimu Baruti and his wife and queen, Inaya Baruti, as our keynote speakers for African Independence Day this year, as they will be talking about our theme for this year's African Independence Day. Culture is our immune system. The great quote by the great Mama Marimba Ani, the author of the book Yurugu. So they will be our keynote, deliver the keynote address this year. We are honored to have them. I know they got a busy August coming up, but we are glad that they could take out the time to be a part of this very, very, very special day, this very, very special event coming up Saturday, August the 1st, virtually live on YouTube, on the Urban Shamans Productions page or Urban Shamans Production channel, as well as right here on Do the Knowledge Radio channel on YouTube, the 16th Annual African Independence Day Maya Celebration 2020, Culture is Our Immune System. Brother Farugh, any comments?
Nope, y'all covered it all.
Brother Baba Rich, what's up?
I look forward to it. You know, shout out to Baba Baruti, because, you know, his work is revolutionary. He's one of our elders.
That's right.
You know, that's really holding it down. So I just look forward to hearing the messages from him. I'm reading so many of his works right now. So it's a blessing to have him, you know, deliver a message to us.
So we got, you know, more information to talk about with African Independence Day, of course. And we will talk about it later on in the show, as well as we got other events coming up for Black August. Not only just African Independence Day, but of course the RBG Centennial Conference coming up, as well as the 100 Years in a Whirlwind Conference coming up. So we were going to talk more about them, which I have the pleasure and honor of being a part of, those historic events, both conferences. So as well as you too, Baba Rich. So we will definitely talk about that. But let's, you know, start dialoguing. I know we talked earlier in the show. First, actually, I wanted to kind of shift it to Baba Farugh. I wanted to talk to you about the men's mental health conference, especially for Black men, for men of African descent, and talking about some of the things that were discussed at the conference. I know you went into it, elaborated on it about it a little bit last week, but you know, we definitely want to give you an opportunity at this time really to go into it, because I'm very interested and curious to see what you brought back from the conference, what some of the benefits that we have, because you can't be an African in America and not be dealing with some kind of trauma. You cannot. That's just impossible. So I want to turn it over to Baba Farugh, and you know, you can take it from there, brother.
Well, I appreciate it. There's the main thing I have recognized is that, and that was really brought up to me, that we're really suffering in silence. And it's because of our egos. It's because of the toxic masculinity that we've been indoctrinated with. And so I don't want to take too much time, because like the brothers here, and we're really here with his story.
Yes.
But what I brought from it is that we have to create a sacred space for men to be men and have real men conversation, real men dialogues. All the answers that we have, all the answers that we need is within us. We just gotta take off the layers of indoctrination, the layers of the alien concepts of our culture. We really, everything's within us. I mean, and like I said, the conversations that we had in those blind chat rooms was phenomenal. You talking about rape. You talking about brothers that that really love their wives, but they don't know it's the battle of the sexes. Feminist movement. So we've been bombarded with so much and indoctrinated with so much disinformation that, and we just really have to take time to create this sacred space. And that's what we're working on now. We're working on now creating a sacred space to where brothers can really have real conversation, real dialogues, and share. We have to be vulnerable. We have to be vulnerable, and we have to be transparent. And shed that whole macho European toxic masculinity definition of that masculinity. We got to tap into our divine masculinity. Masculinity is serious. It's the real deal. But we have to tap into our own divine masculinity. And I'm telling you, it was a beautiful experience. We are now looking at some 9 Akbar work that we can be reading together, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna break down. We're gonna change this mindset of Black inferiority into African humanity, and that's the whole thing. That's the whole movement. The whole movement is to break the Black inferiority and put on platform African humanity, and that's it. I will have more details as we go. Like I said, I've been reading documents as like stacks this high on the studies and statistics. It's deep, bro. Yeah, it's overwhelming. It's extremely overwhelming, but it's the work that's needed to be done. And so I'm about it. I mean, so like next month we would definitely start the circles. We coming up now with the theme and the name of it, and I will be sharing that with y'all next month. So like it's so much information right now, I can't even like break it down to a 3-minute, 5-minute thing. But that's the goal. That's the goal. The goal is to Black men, we gotta take our role, we gotta take our place. Our sisters need us, our family need us, our community need us. And we need to, like, the self-healing is our first priority. It has to be. It has to be our first priority, because then everything else will fall into place. If we get the reparations that we're fighting for, if we're sick, it don't matter. You know what I mean? If we get the land, if we're sick, it don't matter. You know, so we gotta get our minds right. We gotta get our priorities together, and that should be our first mission.
It's a lot of layers of that onion to peel back. I always compare the trauma that we have as men and as African women to an onion. We got to peel back those layers, man, and get to the core, the root of our traumas, of our hurts, of our pains, of our, just we're injured, we're wounded people, and we're not a whole people, and we got to become whole. And that's all of us on this, all of us, on this program, all of us as a people, African men, African women, women everywhere, and children.
That's the thing too. We have to understand that the African family's under attack. I mean, when we get into battles with our empresses, it's like, yo, Black women been through this, Black men been through this, but the children are being slaughtered. I mean, the whole Black family, the whole African family is under attack. And so we have to deal with it holistically. You know what I mean? Mama Africa is in trouble. You know what I mean? Like, so we can't, Malcolm X talked about how we can't hate the fruit without hating the roots. I mean, it's true. Like, we despise Africa. You know what I mean? And so we got to work, we got to get that work there. We got to work here. We got to work within ourselves. We got to work with the children. And like I said, Marcus Klein was here last week. And like I said, I'm a new supporter because I didn't know the in-depth his work was. And so like them 48 hours I dedicate to like find out who this brother is and the stuff that he's doing, all to my life forever, bro. And like I have a 2-month-old now, and it's just like I can't wait to implement those things that I learned from brother Marcus Klein. So I'm hyped. I'm like super hyped right now.
Yeah, it's just to reiterate what you said. I think it's important creating safe spaces. You know what I'm saying, where we can disarm ourselves, because the truth of the matter is that we are at war, and I think what the problem happens is we don't know when to take off our armor. So we're out in the battlefield. We come home and bring that same war at home, or we come into our brotherhood circle, and then I meant sometimes, it's good that we get it in because still sharpens still. But at the same time, we got to realize, who our brothers is and who our, women, our families are, and who our enemies are. So, just having, the right environment and the right place to say, okay, now it's time to deal with, family. Leave that at the door. So that's I find that to be really important. We talk about, code switching, is a time for war and is a time for peace. It's a time to turn it on, is a time to turn it off. So.
And that's why I believe like the Pan-African nationalist perspective is so important. Because it's so, it's so many sects and so many different religions and everything else like that. But if we all come from the group that we're Pan-African first and foremost, I think that would like solve a lot of the issues. Like we have to take ownership of every activity in our lives. Growing our own food, making our own clothes, becoming producers. And so like if we take that ownership, that whole ownership of our lives, the Pan-African nationalist mindset, because they're able to succeed the way they're able to succeed because they got 100% of their money and they got 90% of ours. So they have all this money, all these resources that they can tap into. We're doing the stuff that we're doing with 10% of our income. Can you imagine what we can do with 50%? Can you imagine what we can do with 100%? So like, there's two ways of liberation, right? There's even bloodshed or bottom line money. And so I don't think we're in position to deal with the bloodshed aspect of it, but we damn sure in position to do it from the monetary aspect. So let's control our money. Let's spend our money. Let's keep our money. And if we're going to spend it, let's spend it with our own. That's it, flat out. So that's where I'm at.
Let me introduce our guest, Baba Richard Raw, the one and only, Garvey City's favorite son, MC, activist, teacher, father. You wear a lot of hats and everything like that. Is there anything you want to add on to it? Because I know you work with children directly. You deal with it. You deal with the trauma of children every day in your program right there in Garvey City, behind the bars. Give us a little something, Baba.
Those safe spaces is important. I write things down, like, so when you see me going down, I'm like writing notes on the things that Baba Farugh was saying. And so African humanity, a sacred space for dialogue. Those things are extremely important. And that's one of the things that we deal with our young men in our program is creating that safe space. It is allowing you to open up and know that there's someone here that you can trust. And so we just have to redevelop that. We recognize the norms that we have taken into our consciousness are alien. And so we just have to reorient our cultural lens and get back into the clothing that fits us. And that's our Africanity. And I think that's really important. And that's one of the things that we do, introducing those modalities such as Ma'at, such as Ubuntu, and just showing them that we have our own cultural norms and you should participate in that, which is going to enhance you as opposed to that which is going to rob you of everything.
See, that's why I appreciate you, man. You're a forever student. You know what I mean? Because I'm like the same thing. I got like my little notepad and I'm taking notes. So I'm really excited about the things that you're going to share with us to kind of help us elevate our teaching experience, because we are all teachers. Absolutely. And we are all Babas. And so just being a Baba, you're naturally a teacher. You know what I mean? And so like all these teachers here, I'm like ready. Like, share, brother, share.
Well, Baba Oba said something that was interesting, right? So he talked about wholeness, which is a word that we've been really dealing with. So wholeness, and realizing when a student comes into my class, that student may turn a desk over. I've had situations where a student turns a desk over, cusses everybody out. And, at first I'm like, I'm macho. You're not going to be in my class acting like that. What, and trying to control the class that way. But I realized that wasn't the best way to handle it. So isolating them and having a real conversation that some of our children are being touched. Some of our children haven't eaten at night. So, we have to change our approach. And that's what the Pan-African looks at, the wholeness of the situation. And so for me, it's like, let me get a holistic view. Okay, you were touched. Okay, and now you're trying to deal with that. And so it comes out as I'm shooting a brother in the street, or, I'm robbing somebody. I understand. So, it's our approach. We have taken a Eurocentric approach, which is really a monolithic approach. And so when we take a wholeness approach and looking at the full scope of the situation, our response is different. And so pulling that individual away and trying to get them involved in something that's a little more meaningful, because you have to release stress, right? You're dealing with so much. And so you're stressed. And of course, anxiety hits you because you are African and we're at war. And so how do we find a medium to express some of those frustrations? I use music to do so. And so trying to give them avenues to express their frustration, but also making them aware that you also need to, remain a warrior and fight when it's necessary when it comes to the battlefield. And so this is the challenge that's before us now is, we want to keep our children safe, and we want to keep them productive and not doing anything to disturb the African community, but also to maintain that warrior spirit. So when it's time to fight, you can be aggressive in that fight. Like the children from here who wreaked havoc in Garvey City. I love the fact that they wreaked havoc in Garvey City, because now we're at the table demanding things that we can get. And we wouldn't have been at the table and getting some of these items if they weren't courageous enough to go out and just rip this city apart. So.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Our youth stood up. And we just mentioned on the last show that it's important that we stand with them. We've seen videos of you recently. I don't know how recent, or if it was pre-recorded, but you definitely were out on the front lines. And so I wanted you to talk a little bit more about music and activism, and how do you go about applying yourself as an activist and as an artist.
Well, first, just being Pan-African, but what I noticed is when all of this situation occurred, when everybody's marching and protesting, I just felt like, okay, you're sitting here with all of this information. You have this book, you have that book, you have this library, and you have this knowledge. And so it's like we aren't clear as a people, conceptual clarity. We aren't clear in terms of who we are and where we need to go. And I just felt like I've seen some of our people, as opposed to sitting and condemning our people that weren't clear, I said, well, how about I go out and try to provide some clarity in terms of who we are, about what racism really is, and why you're being attacked. Yes, we're at war, and people, they don't recognize that. The language is clear to us because we live this reality. But what I realize is that this is complicated to a lot of people. This is very complicated. To recognize that a war is being waged on you. They don't recognize it. So for me, it was getting out there and just being active in my community. And, people started to hear what I said, and now they're paying attention. And, I guess the people dictated my move. It wasn't me going out like, I'm going to do this. It was a need. I'm like, okay, I need to apply myself to this situation, because this isn't something I normally do. I don't deal in protests and march and all of those things. My work is really with our children, and doing the work of a musician and an activist in that way. So this is a new territory for me, but I felt like it was necessary, because I just couldn't sit by and allow our people to continue this. Even with Black Lives Matter, that's not a slogan I would use, but I recognize the energy around it, and that's what I did. I didn't condemn it, and that got a lot of people around us. And what we did is we created a team. We created a powerful team of people that were already doing things. And I think it was a great thing. We started a study group on it. Now we have a study group started in Garvey City, and resurrecting a study group we had years ago. So, I think that was important. People know me as an artist here, but they haven't heard me speak. A lot of them haven't heard me speak, and this is a new thing. And so the more they hear me speak, the more they're demanding, let's hear more. Let me find out more. They're in my inbox. And so this is an opportunity. We just took advantage of this opportunity to provide some clarity to our people.
Talk about real quick the situation in Garvey City with the mayor him recognizing and putting up the African liberation flag, which you were one of the individuals in Garvey City who spearheaded that that movement, and how, you know, a lot of open communication now between the mayor, city council, and yourself in Garvey City has transpired because of the day of reckoning that took place there in Garvey City.
Yeah, so there's a lot of fear, especially in our downtown district, because, like I said, our children were courageous and they tore downtown. You know, they tore downtown apart, which, you know, there was a question of why would they do so. And I've been here, and the lack of inclusion with our children participating in downtown, that's been an issue for quite some time. And I've been trying to pull resources to assist our community. We got a large music community, and I've been trying to pull resources and saying, you need to invest in our community, you know, because I feel like that's a part of the reparations. You know, I feel like that money belongs to our children. It belongs to our art community. And I've been saying that. I'm like, you're going to create a hostile situation. So I've talked about that. So, you know, there was an individual that pulled me in and said, you know, you need to have a conversation with this administration because they do want to do some things, but I feel like you're a little more clear in terms of what they can do. And so the mayor didn't want to talk to me because he feels like, you know, I'm radical. So he definitely was like, I can't talk to him. He's just a little too radical. But, you know, I worked on, you know, I told somebody, I said, you know, allow me to get at the table. And when we got to the table, you know, it was an interesting conversation. We talked about history. We talked about Columbus. I mean, we talked about a lot. I stood my ground, you know, definitely. And so we put an agenda on the table. I came in and I had an agenda. And I said, on this agenda are some symbolic gestures that I think you should commit to. And I've taken some flack because the first thing are the symbolic gestures, but I recognize we have to be symbol literate. And I recognize how valuable it is to fly the RBG flag in the city and have the city to put it up, to buy the flag from a Black-owned producer. And you know, so I'm thinking of it like, okay, this is a golden opportunity. So I said that's what we want. This is the 100th year anniversary. So I'm like, we need to fly our flag. Everybody flies a flag. The LGBTQ community flies a flag. And I'm looking like we need to have the RBG flag flying. And so that was a conversation we had. He was willing to commit to it. We also wanted to fly. We're doing crosswalk art. So they wanted to do it like a Black Lives Matter thing everywhere. And I told them, you know, let's brainstorm on that because I don't want to do Black Lives Matter, but let's figure out some other things. And so I'm trying to get Garvey's image in the city in multiple places. So we're working on some designs there. We're also working on some things in terms of housing and bringing money to our Black entrepreneurs as well. So, you know, a lot of people, they see the symbolic gestures, but they don't. We went in there with, you know, even talked about police reform and all of that. Even though I'm clear in terms of being Pan-African, I have to state that I'm clear. But I recognize that some of this may be low-hanging fruit, but in my opinion, I want it all. Like, we deserve it all, whether it's low-hanging fruit, high-hanging fruit. If I can do anything for our people in whatever capacity and wherever seat that I hold, I feel like I'm going to do it. And so that was my objective in going and talking to the administration. You know, now we have 5 businesses that are actually we're going to bring some resources to those 5 businesses to take them from, you know, vendors into a space. So all of this is like perfect because downtown, businesses left downtown. So they're struggling downtown. The tax revenue is low now because those businesses left. So now I'm like, okay, since those businesses left, I got 5 vendors over here. How do we get those 5 vendors into spaces? How can you offset the cost? And these are the types of things that we're doing here, saying, you know what, this is a golden opportunity. You know, and so it's different because you're working in the political. I never worked in the political arena, but I'm smart enough from all the literature I have to navigate through that to maintain who I am, but also to do something for our people. And that's, so we're lifting that RBG flag hopefully on July 25th. We're working on it, and we're going to do a large ceremony were all of the elders from Garvey City who are part of the cultural uprise. So we're going to have all of them on a platform, dressed in their royal regalia, and we're going to honor them. We're going to, of course, have some music, and we're giving away 100 RBG flags to our community free of charge. So we've got them to commit some dollars to this. And of course, this is just the beginning. We're also trying to open a cultural center now. So our next thing is to go to the county and to the state and to get resources from all three, so that we can acquire a building, and we want to own it. So they, the thing is, why should we do this for you instead of because we Black and we're the most dispossessed, and that's why you need to do it. And if you don't, if you're not willing to put some resources here, then what happened before will happen again.
That's right.
So,
hey, I wanted to quickly
do what we do.
Yeah, I wanted to quickly mention, you see that flag that Farugh is sitting in front of? That flag was created by a sister here in Philadelphia, Mama Lorraine. She is the manufacturer of our own red, black, and green. So, I don't know if, that production is happening, but I would like to give you that contact to her.
Oh, it still is. It still is. Sister Laverne is still doing flags and everything. So, yeah, I talked to her a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Let's connect. Please give me that information.
Absolutely.
My goal is to have our flag not only in the city, but we're going to fly it in the county and the state as well. So I want our flag to fly as in many places as we can. So that's my next step, is to go to the county and the state. We're going to fly this RBG flag. We're going to have it.
Yes. We don't want no flags made in. We don't want no flags made in Japan.
No.
We want flags made with African hands by African people.
Yes.
So definitely, yeah. I have the information as well. No problem, Baba. No problem. You know what? If we can we get into a little bit of your music? By showing one of his videos, brother Khamuo. And then we can talk about some of your music, some of your latest music, because you just had a new video for a new single drop yesterday.
Yes.
Maybe we can play that, and then we can go into that, and then we can, go into who the artist Richard Raw is, and what he means to hip hop, and what he means to the socio-political climate, conscious cultural climate of hip hop today. So let's go into the video, and then we'll come back, and we'll have more with our guest, the one and only Richard Raw.
Okay.
I think I put it in the chat. If you look in the chat, it's a link.
Yes.
So I'm actually having a technical difficulty right now sharing the screen. You all hear me? Okay, so let me come out and come back in. But I was going to put the video on Sage the Play. So could you give us a little, backstory of that and how it came about?
Just Sage the Place is actually on a new album that I actually completed. The album is it's called Orisha Soul, and it's an album that's dedicated to our Orishas, our creators. And so the album is got a lot of African syncopated rhythms. So it touches on Afro rock, Afro soul, Afro funk. And so this is one of the lead single called Sage the Place, just because I think it's important for us to clean spaces. We talked about healing spaces, and how one of the ways that we clean spaces out is sage. We use sage as a dry herb, and we clean space out. We open our windows and we say our prayers, our meditations, and then we go around with the sage, and then we clean out spaces. So it's important. Anything you bring into your home, you should sage it. You should clean it out. You should make that a point. The same way we clean our physical bodies, We need to cleanse our mental, and clean the spaces where we live. So it was just a great video, and it's a video, you'll see just people from around, just, in our community, just saging the place. And that's what I wanted to do, something that included our community, and I'll make you a star in this video. That's what I told you. Make you a star here. You special. All of us are special. This is Black excellence. And so that was the ideal behind the video.
Right. Now, let me ask you this. What role, now I know the answer to this question because you and I talk often. What role does traditional African spiritual cosmology play? Well, personally, of course, in your life and in your home, with your wife and your daughter. Right. But what does it play in how much of a role does it play in your music? I already know the answer, but I want you to share that with our listening audience and those who are watching on YouTube. How much of a role it plays? Well,
it plays everything. I mean, every release, every song, I'm sure, is so meaningful, because I take my time and I before I put something out, I'm thinking like, would my ancestors approve of this? So that's why I'm careful. When I construct this music, a lot of times I allow the egungun, the ancestors, to bless me with the message, and I'll deliver that message, or they'll point me in a direction where this is a need. So it plays a major role, and that's why I stay centered with every release. I feel like I have to center myself. For those that may not be familiar, being African centered is centering ourselves in analysis and synthesis. We are the center, and we need to work from that perspective. We always work from we centralize our condition and look from our historical value. So for me, that's when I create music, I'm always looking at a centered perspective as opposed to a decentered perspective. A decentered perspective is what you see in the world of hip hop, especially commercial hip hop, where ignorance in terms of who we are and what we need to accomplish, that's a decentered perspective, and that is influenced highly by the European. So when you look at it, the African perspective is centering ourselves. And so I just operate from that point, and it plays a major role, not only in the music. The music for me is an extension of the very life that I live. And so, when you look at my daughter's, her name is Orisha. So I dedicated her back to the community, and dedicated her to our ancestors. So I think it's important. The music that you make is an extension of you. Your art pieces are an extension of who you are. Right. And so when you look at some of the people who create art from a decentered perspective, there's turmoil going on inside. There's a war raging inside, and there's people are unclear. And so I think the more clear you become, the more your art reflects the foundation of who you are, the essence of who you are, and you reproduce that Africanity in your art. So it's extremely important that I stay centered, and if I ever deviate, I would hope that Baba Farugh, Baba Oba, make sure that you call me and ask me, brother, what is going on? Because we have to hold each other accountable, and I want to just make sure, giving you leeway to always feel free to say, what's going on, brother? I think you need to calm that down, or I think you need to do something different. And I think you would do that. And I'm just saying, this is how we have to move as a real brotherhood and as men. Hold me accountable, because I can slip. I can definitely slip. If you see me out and you feel like I'm being disrespectful in terms of my wife, I'm married and I love. And if you see something that could even be perceived in a way, say, brother, just step over here. Let me step in between you and this sister. And you can still have a conversation, but I'm just gonna step in between y'all. Hold me accountable. And I think we create better models of Africanity when we do that. We have to have the license to do that. That's real brotherhood. So I always encourage my brothers, keep me on point. Keep me on point. And I'll do the same if I see. Because sometimes we might be in a situation where we don't have no malicious intent. A sister is trying to have a conversation with us, and she may have an agenda. And you may see that agenda. I might not, because I'm delivering information, or I'm sharing. So just a few things I always want to add on. That's how we move.
And that's true. Like that's so true. So, like the reason why we choose the medium that that we choose as far as music, because it's a connective. It connects us like no other form of media, a form of art.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so like music crosses all kind of platforms and agendas or whatever the case may be. And performance for me is a political act. It's a political act.
A political statement as well, right?
Yeah. So it's like we have in our bloodlines the bloodline of griots. You know what I'm saying? And so we have a responsibility to our community, to uplift our community. And so when you said that, bro, especially holding people accountable, if we don't hold each other accountable and be open to being held accountable, we're not gonna go far. We're not gonna go far at all. And so, like, marriages is just not a thing between you and your wife. It's not just in the house. It's supported. It's supposed to be supported by the community. This is why we have these elaborate weddings. This is why we invite people to our wedding to be.
No, we good.
Peace. Okay.
Was
oh
going.
Man, that was
conversation.
We was
take it there.
Okay, so all right, I'm gonna just bring this video in. As we shared it, the conversation definitely was becoming intense. So yeah, let's get it back on track. You all here and can see it?
No.
Rick, no, I can't, not yet.
You all seeing this now?
No, I still can't see it.
No, not yet.
Y'all can hear it?
No.
Okay, so I don't know.
Yeah,
right,
we can roll on. We'll post it on our pages for everybody to see if you can't get it up. So
no doubt. Because I have not seen the newest video yet that you just released yesterday. I didn't get around to seeing it yesterday, but I was really excited. This is your 9th studio album?
Yes.
You working on now?
Yes.
Yeah. So brothers and sisters, like a few weeks ago, we had the Vanguard United Front, on our program, and now we have, Baba Richard Raw, the one and only, on our program and everything. Please go out and support these brothers, support these groups. When you talk about that, there's no good politically, socially relevant, culturally conscious music out here, that is a lie. It is plenty of music out here, from Brick the Foundation to Kazi Gang to Tahir RBG to Del P. They're out here. I mean, and we got some dynamic sisters as well, that are, they about it. You know what I'm saying? The brother Damani,
Damani,
yeah. Shout out, definitely, no doubt. So it's out here, and this is the beauty of having a platform such as the Sonic Ngoma to allow for us. We deal with a holistic approach on this show, so we're talking about art, music, culture, fitness, business, education. We deal with a holistic approach on this show from every different aspect. So that's why we have different guests on each and every week. And now this week we got on, Baba Richard Raw. So so please go out and support his music. He will definitely be talking about where you can pick up his music, where you can get it from, online, downloading the app to go to, so he will definitely be, sharing that with us,
Yes. So definitely, richardraw.com. You can go there and you can actually buy physical CDs. Also, the music is available for streaming on every platform. So where you're on Tidal, Apple, wherever you are, you can actually go and stream the music. I want to make the music available for the people. This is a part of our propaganda campaign that Garvey talked about in propagating, our way of life. And so I look forward to releasing this album. I tell you, in this COVID lockdown, I recorded 3 albums. So, and this doesn't include Orisha Soul, which is coming, which was already complete. So I was ready to bring that out. I kind of waited a little bit. I wanted to shoot some music videos, get with my sister Cachet again, so we can make magic, because I feel like, it's a dynamite connection.
No doubt.
Me, for those that don't know, she's an incredible dancer, and she dances to our culture.
Yes.
And so I've been working with her, and she's been helping me put these music videos together with beautiful images and this great dancing. So I think that, that's the wave. For me, it's pulling back a little bit and allowing other people, giving them creative, some creative cachet in what I do. I realize it's much bigger than myself. I remove my ego, and I'm asking people, what can you bring to the table? How can we tell our story together through art? And so it's really been beautiful to have. I did a song called Revolutionary Girl. I worked with the sisters from PLM in Baltimore, Pan-African Liberation Movement. And I brought those sisters up to Garvey.
Shout out to Baba Imhotep and Mama Ife.
Yes. So she came up. They all came up, and I actually gave them creative. I said, do what you will. I'll play the rapping part, but design this. Make this something special. And that's what they did. They made it special. We worked with Abundance Child over at our Drop Squad Kitchen. And it was a combination of, it was just a beautiful day. And it just makes me happy, it's just relinquishing some of this ego and getting our sisters involved. I feel like that's another important point is having our sisters involved, because they're the key behind the throne. You see us, but it's really our queens, man, that are really there, and properly instructing us. You need to be a little more healthy. You need to get that checked out, because our warrior spirit is like, I'm good. And and they'll be like, no, you ain't good. You need to go get that checked out. That don't look right. You need to be okay. So that's one of the things I've been happy to do, is just allow them to give them creative space on what I do. And it's been a beautiful blessing.
I have an interesting question for you. With everything that has been taking place in the last couple of months, especially since February, with COVID, with the Day of Reckoning that came about through the murder of Brother Ahmaud Arbery, Sister Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd, where is hip hop right now? Is hip hop at a crossroads? Where do you see it going? As what is going on in society transformed hip hop as an artist, as somewhat a part of very much the fabric of the culture. Both of us are, because we are the hip hop generation. Hip hop is so instrumental in my life personally, as being a former artist myself. Where's hip hop at? Is it at a threshold? Is it at a crossroads? Where do you see it going? And where is your part in this climate of change that is happening not only in the country but all over the world?
Well, I can speak. I know the art in and of itself I believe that we've always had an influence. When I say we, I'm talking about the artists that are not only just artists, but the artists that are transformed inside. Like, this is what we live, and this is who we are. So the artists that you mentioned, Damani, Tahir, and the various others, I speak for us. So we've been having an influence. You see, Beyonce is a little more comfortable now, saying that she's influenced by Oshun, and I know that we have been pushing the envelope. They are paying attention to us. So my hope is they are going to be transformed, not just informed, because I believe that a lot of people are now becoming informed by the propaganda, but now we have to work to transform those individuals. So this is a part of you going forward. So yes, I do believe that, you know, hip hop is looking at itself in the mirror now. And I've seen some of the young artists that have put together some of the most ignorant music. Now they're saying, you know what, something is not right with police brutality. Something's not right. So they're looking at things and they're starting to question that. There was a young artist on here. His name is Young Setter. And I know he's probably still tuned in. He's one of the artists that I apprenticed. I brought him in, and you know, I seen he was just a great artist in Garvey City. And I'm like, you know, I think you're great. And I brought him in to work in my program. I gave him a financial opportunity, and he was working side by side with me. And I helped to executive produce his album. It's a great conversation. He's from Riverside Projects, which is, you know, he's from the project straight up. So I just see something special in him, and I took him to places where I spoke, and it was just a great relationship. And, you know, he's been on, you know, I haven't talked to him for about, you know, it's been a few months or whatever. And so I'm looking at his material now, and it's conscious. I mean, he did a flip. Like his music would talk about, you know, as a young artist, they talk about, you know, anxiety and depression, and that was the bulk of his music. And the other day, I'm hearing him talk about being indigenous. I'm hearing him talk about, you know, racism and what he calls white supremacy. That's what makes me happy. So, you know, when you look at Richard Raw, it's more or less, who have I produced? So I think it's that when I'm totally transformed inside, I'll produce something in other people that's special. And that's the kind of thing that makes me happy. So I know locally, a lot of artists are now willing to take a stand and talk about real things that are affecting our community. So I think hip hop is at a crossroads, and there's a lot of good dialogue and conversation going on in the culture. J. Cole came out and said that he wasn't conscious, or he wasn't informed. He was like, I'm not properly informed to really speak on our issues. And I think that was great for him to say, because a lot of young people looked at J. Cole. This is no disrespect or condemnation for my brother. That's my brother. But a lot of people look toward J. Cole for answers to solve issues and problems, and for him to say, you know what, I create great art, but I'm not transformed. And I thought that was, I love the fact that he was honest enough to say that. So hopefully J. Cole can come to Richard Raw, can come to Tahir RBG. Let us inform you, because let us transform you, because we have the information. We've been looking at it. And I think that your platform is special. So I hope that they would look at what we've been doing. I hope the Beyoncés and all of them look at what we've been doing. We've been living this, and we've been unapologetic. So let's create that connection. Let's create our own. What they need is the information that we have and the transformation that we have. Let's create our own, Beyonce. We will support you. Absolutely. Come to Afrikan Independence Day. Be embraced by the real love and the real culture. We would embrace you. We would treat you with the royalty that you deserve. You know, and so that's my thing. Is like, yo, Jay, come invest in this. Come invest in. Let's make Afrikan Independence Day even better. Put some back into it. We need those black dollars. Forget the NFL. Like, let's deal with this, because Afrikan Independence Day has transformed people. So that's where I think hip hop has to go. You can't do it alone, because you're not totally transformed, and you admit that. Even the Kendrick Lamar, I mean, they make great art, and they're making tidbits of things. They hear things and they put them out, but I don't hear in the interviews. I'm like, you're not transformed, and it's okay to not be transformed. It's okay, but I think it's a problem if you don't move toward wholeness or to be transformed. That's where the issue and the problem comes in. So come on, we're here. Let's create it. We're Black, you know, we African. All of you are our family, whether you are restored or not. Let's deal with each other. Let's embrace each other. And I think that is going to shift the world. That mentality and thinking will shift the world. So we got to find a way to get them over. It's because we can't do it alone. We can't. We are communal people. And so they have the financial wherewithal that can move us to the next level. I believe, I think that's a beautiful thing, working collectively, not asking you to just give us the money, but be involved in the transformation. Right. We want you transformed. And we got to figure out how to bring that all in and work collectively. I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I Exactly. My sentiments exactly, brother Farugh. Baba, definitely Baba.
And we condemn too much. Like you talk about the brothers that were armed in Stone Mountain. It's like, okay, there has to be a point where we stop the condemnation. We condemn so much.
That's right.
And as Pan-Africans, as in the Black nationalist movement, it's almost we play the role of being an elitist. I have this information and you don't have it, so you're stupid. You don't know about that, you're stupid. No, like we have to bring people in and show them that African humanity, and that's empathy. I have empathy for my brothers and my sisters. Let me show you. And when somebody says something that's wrong, you don't necessarily, you're wrong. It's another way that we have to go about it. And if we don't be the models and examples of African humanity, they'll never come. And I've had a lot of people just recently say, I love the fact that you never condemn me. I love the fact you never say I'm totally wrong, because I know if I do that, right, we're going to be combative for one another. Yeah. Yeah, so for me, it's not even debating. If you come on my post, I have to first assess the situation and say, are you here because you are willing to stand on your ground and not give any leeway?
Right.
So I look at that first, and that's why I put things out, and I may not comment. Now, my wife, she'll comment, and she'll do it in a positive way. They have that gift of gab. They could do that. But for me, sometimes I don't comment. I just watch on what a person is saying, and then I may go in the inbox and say, well, let's continue this conversation here, because if we have it here, it's gonna look like we're up in arms, and we can never be in that position. Let me see your perspective. Maybe you can change my. Maybe I looked at that the wrong way, and maybe there's a better way that I can look at that to get the information. So I think we have to really start with that. Bring people in with love, because the Africanity is about love, so much so that when Europeans came to our land, we fed them, we clothed them, because that is the African way. Now, we are guarded because of the things that they've done, so we have to be on guard and recognize this is a war. But at the central point of us is restoring humanity, and I feel like Europeans will be restored. For them, they'll be restored when we are whole. When we are whole, Europeans will be, because they are only who they are because of where we are. So when we are back to ruling over ourselves and ruling over our society, they cannot be who they are, right? The nature of their relationship has to change. So I've been telling Europeans, you're sick, you don't know it. Yeah. And the more whole I become, you can never stand in that position again, right? Because no Europeans can come and disrespect us. We won't allow it, because we are who we are. And if we have more people that embrace that, they wouldn't have no power over us. They would have no power at all, and they really don't have power over us. They've conditioned us to believe so. They don't have no power over me.
And see, that's the premise I come from, because it's just like, you gotta be Team Pan-African, right?
Yeah.
You can't be like, everybody can't be a quarterback. Everybody can't be a wide receiver. Everybody can't be a punter. Everybody can't be a punt returner. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, let everybody else play their position. Everybody play their position, and that's the only way we can rock out. Everybody can't be on front line.
Right.
Who's creating the strategies? You know what I'm saying? Like, who's implementing? You know what I mean? So it's like, everybody has a role to play.
And we can't always be suspicious. I mean, like earlier in while we were in the in the back, before we got on the show, we were talking about the situation in Stone Mountain, Georgia last week with Grandmaster Jay of the NFAC, the Not Fucking Around coalition. And this week, it was the big story. A lot of people wanted to know, who is this brother? Where he come from? He just came out of nowhere. He went up there 1,000 strong, with the militia brothers and sisters right up on the front doorstep of the headquarters of the Ku Klux Klan. We already had suspicions. People talking about, oh, he may be an agent, he may be this, he may be that. Look, we have ways besides the media to do our due diligence and our research about this brother, who he is, this, that, and the third, since it means so much to you. But he had the heart to do something that many of us who are in this movement sit around and talk about, but he did it. They put out threats against African people. And when I mean they, I'm talking about certain white militias. The KKK put out threats. He took them up on their threat and said, "Yo, we don't threaten. You know what I mean? We just, we just retaliate. So this is our, time to retaliate right here on the birthday of the United States. The 4th of July, the 4th of July, in front of the world to demonstrate Black power." And he went up on their doorstep and did it. And they were trying to deter him, the local police and the sheriffs and everything like that, but they would not be denied. And he said, "Yo, hold your guns down and things of that nature. Stay in formation, because as long as you're in formation, they can't come at you. But as soon as anything kicks off and everything like that, don't just shoot them, kill them. Handle your business. Do what needs to be done." But all of a sudden, many of us are like, "Oh, well, who is he? Where's he come from? He may be aged, he may be this, that, and the third." If it's that important to you to know who Grandmaster Jay is, if it's that important to you to know who the NFAC is, then do your goddamn research and everything like that. And if he is who he says he isn't, then we deal with it accordingly. But until then, the jury's still out. And please stop with the negative connotations and bullshit until you have actual facts.
Yeah, I'll give you something, Baba. So in Ifa, we recognize Eshu, Elegba.
Ashe.
And Elegba or Eshu is often called a trickster.
Ashe.
Right? And you have to realize that, let's say this brother isn't who he says he is, right? That doesn't mean Eshu would have used that individual to program our people into thinking it's okay to defend your community and defend our people from these assaults from white terrorists. So I look at the influence that has, like if you've seen the Black Panthers. Now, were the Black Panthers perfect? Absolutely not. And if I might have been an organization for some people, like I can't join that. There's a lot of crazy, but I'm influenced and inspired by what they've done. And that makes me put more effort into that inspires me to do something. I look at it from that perspective. We need to protect our communities. We need to protect our people. I mean, they come out with a frontal assault with all kinds of weapons. And you know what I enjoyed in Garvey City when we had our big protest, and I'm going to put this picture up. There's 2 brothers in Dover that's not too far from us. It's about 5 of them. They came out and they were totally armed from the teeth. And it was like the beautiful thing to see them in our protest. I mean, cops are looking at them, but they carrying the big giant assault rifles. And, it was a beautiful thing to see. And I'm like, we have to be comfortable with seeing that.
That's right.
Nothing wrong with seeing that. We need to have a militant perspective. And that's a part of our movement. So, and people are, they seen it and they were like, wow, I feel safe. I feel safe here. That's what people, I heard them say when they came up to them. I feel safe that you're here. And I'm like, of course. So, we got to look at this thing from a different perspective. Yeah, what do we take away from it? How are we inspired and influenced from it? And so, if somebody here wants to start a gun club to protect Black people because they seen those brothers in Stone Mountain, I'm great with that because that's necessary. Yeah. And if that's what it takes. Hey, we know Eshu is a trickster. Eshu uses a lot of trick situations to bring about some clarity.
Yeah, we just gotta stop the hating on brothers and sisters who take the initiative to step up and put themselves on the front line, and that's exactly what he did. I can't say anything about him because I don't know enough about him. But like I said, I plan to do my own research and due diligence on who Grandmaster Jay is. But like I said, he did something that many of us talk about, may dream about, may want to do, but don't have the heart to do. And that's exactly what he did. And I got to respect him for that. He got my respect.
Well, I would say always, the biggest thing again is do research.
That's right.
But as you do that research, you don't have to come out with this and that. Continue to do your research, and once you have a solid foundation, then you bring that to the people. Or first, I would say bring it to the brother if you can, or his organization. That's the first point of contact. Is I got all of this. So you bring it to them, and then you're willing to bring it to the people if you feel like what he's doing is damaging our people or putting our people in a bad situation, which I don't think he did. I think those brothers were ready. But if you feel that way, we got to find out ways to do this, because it often turns into we're against each other again, and we got to find other ways to do this. We got to just be cautious and careful and figure this out. We should be smart, but until you've done your due diligence, you should stop your condemnation, because it's poor. And that means if anybody does anything, you're going to question to the nth degree about what they did. And I mean, it's into a situation. Just reach out to the brother, talk to the brother, find out what's going on. And if he isn't who he say he is, we'll deal with that. But we'll deal with that as a community. That's something that we need to deal with. And right now, Europeans are looking at this like, look, this brother took a stand and they're not even united on that. That's the ammunition they use. And I'm pretty sure that they're working on putting some posts right in front of your face right now to condemn that brother, because that's how they work.
And again, that speaks to the mentality. And this is why the mental work is so important. It's we're not unifying on anything. So anytime we see ourselves doing something that we don't agree with, not saying that it's wrong, but the fact that we don't agree with it, we gotta have those divide and conquer mentality. We even losing on ourselves. They don't even have to do anything. It's like, all right, they got like, oh man, I totally disagree with what he's doing. It has to be wrong. It has to be wrong. You know what I mean? So that mental work that we need to do, bro, is paramount. And the self work that we gotta do is paramount. That's why we ain't gonna do it. That's why as soon as we come in the house, we turn the TV on. We don't want to deal with self. Yeah, we gotta deal with that self work, man. Like, and I'm just hammering that home every opportunity I get, man. Like, we got. I'm a person. I'm an example of that work, and what y'all see every day is because the moment of reflection. I'm staying in a mode of reflection. And I mean, how can I do this better? How can I be better? How can I unify our people? Put my whole ego to the side and say how we have more in common than we have differences. Yeah. I'm going to focus on what we have in common. And so every opportunity I get, I'm going to put that self-work in and that whole mental work in. That's important, man.
Yeah, and I would say this, so in our study class now, I'm there with, I've been teaching about Booker T. Washington. And, kind of ideals that people were upset because, you have the divide between W.B. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, Garvey. And what even with the Atlanta Compromise, when, Booker T really stood on the platform and basically said, we're going to accept this subjugated position from the European, right? I believe that was a strategy and a tactic, because when Booker T, when he passed on, they found out that he was actually working on cases of suing Europeans for the wrong done to the people. But he would tell people, we're not into protest march, we're not into legal things, we're not into all of that. But it seems like an utter contradiction that he actually was working on all of these cases of suing these Europeans and going to the courts when he sat in front of the European and said, we're not about that. So, one of the things we have to learn is objective strategy and tactics. Overall objective is the liberation of our people as African sovereignty, no doubt. Now, how do we bring that about? We'll use different strategies and tactics. So it's like you walk into the ring, right? The objective is, I'm gonna knock this dude out, I'm gonna get the win. It may not be the next person out. Right. I'm gonna win the fight. Now, how? Well, this individual has a strong right hand, so I gotta figure out a strategy, tactic, so I don't get hit by that right hand, and that's gonna allow me to win. So it's like we gotta look at it like that. Dr. King was brilliant. Nonviolence was a strategy. Was he nonviolent? We now know that no. When Bayard Rustin actually met Dr. King was strapped up. He was ready. He was about it. But see, we don't get that because they give us the tarnished version of it. So he used that as a strategy. He felt like the first duty is to keep my people safe. And we're in the South, and we just seen James Meredith get his head almost blown off in a march, the march of war, the march of fear. So he's seen that, and he's like, okay, I don't want that blood on my hand. I don't want our people to get murdered. So I'm going to use this as a strategy, a tactic. So I think we have to reform. We got to look from our own lens and how we view these individuals. You know, we have to look at what they gave us and stop being so condescending toward what they did. Because there's a lot of people say I wouldn't have been with Dr. King. I'm like, I probably would have been, because I would have been in the inner circle and understood. I would have asked him the question, and he would have said, you know what, I just want to keep my people safe. You know what I'm saying? That's African right there, to keep our people safe. That's war. That's a strategy and a tactic when you have war. So you got to know when to fight, know when you can't fight because you're overpowered. And so you have to play a different role. It's a beautiful thing. This is African genius we're looking at. I tell people, Garvey, Du Bois, Trotter, you're looking at genius of who said, how can we, you know, King moved toward Black nationalism, and then you know, Malcolm started, he moved to Pan-Africanism and willing to work with civil rights groups. So I'm like, we have to transform how we feel about these individuals. Let's teach it from our perspective, because we got a tarnished version of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, there's levels, man. It's definitely levels, and it's always evolving.
Yes,
everything's always evolving. If you're not changing, you're not evolving. You're dead.
And I, you know, that was a great point. I often have conversations with individuals, and a lot of times like to reference some of our great leaders, but they reference them at a particular phase where they were. You know, they don't reference the evolution, you know, of our people. They just talk about a particular phase that they were at and don't look at the complete evolution where they have gone. And so, you find individuals stuck in a certain place where when you look at the totality of their work and the totality of their evolution, we can really gain something even greater. So, you know, and that's why it's important for, individuals to study for themselves. Take a look at these particular leaders. Don't just take what people said or just take a quote. You know, look at their whole body of work. Let's look at their lives. Let's look at, where they left, where they left us at. When they left their work or left this existence. Let's see where they were at that time. So that was a great point, Richard. Richard Raw.
Yeah.
Peace, Queen. Hi.
Hey, Arisha, what's going on? Alafia. Yeah. Alafia. Yeah. It's tremendous, man. So before we move to close, because we got a lot of business to take care of, especially talk about Afrikan Independence Day as well as the 2 conferences that's coming up, all in the month of August during Black August. Talk about real quickly your latest project, what you're working on, how people can get your music,
Yeah, so right now I got an album that we completed. Like I said, it's more Afrobeat, Afro funk, Afro rock.
Yeah.
That vibe, and it's a beautiful album. Orisha here, she sings the songs all the time, and so the lead single is "Sage the Place." There's another song I have called "Egungun," "Love Me Egun." That's a song that I have a live version of it that I put out. So I'm really happy. I'm ready to bring that out. You'll see I have a new song that's coming in a new video called Pan-African Love off the album as well. So we're excited to bring that album out. Like I said, during the COVID, I recorded 3 albums other than that. So I just stayed productive, ancestors just talking. Go to richardraw.com and there you can purchase physical CDs. And also, my music is available on all streaming platforms. So you can check that out. I am from Garvey City. This is the place where Marcus Mosiah Garvey actually incorporated the Black Star Line.
I was going to ask that question because people don't know that. You know what I mean? I did, but yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is where Garvey incorporated the Black Star Line. Actually right across the street. We didn't know this, but actually across the street from the building where Garvey incorporated the Black Star Line, which is on 9th Street, right across the street is there's a brother named Hameen who had basically like a kind of cultural hub there. And from that cultural hub, we artists were born and birthed from that. So it's interesting that happened that way. So yeah, that's where he incorporated the Black Star Line. And I will leave you with this, in terms of that, power is the ability to define reality. Power is the ability to define reality and to have others accept that reality as if it were their own. I think that's something I heard Dr. Wade Nobles say.
Bob Wade Nobles, that's right.
Well, Bob Wade Nobles says that, and I think we have to start looking through our own lens. Our city is the majority of our city is African people, so why not identify ourselves from that perspective? And that's why we renamed the city. We call it Garvey City, and we didn't. It wasn't legally. We just did that. And we look through our own lens, and I've been telling people, let's continue this work. Brother Rough Mike influenced me to do this. Brother Rough Mike is an artist.
Ibaye, Rough Mike, yeah.
And he used to call Baltimore Tubman City, and then he told me that, I think Banneker City was DC. So he started on a quest to rename these places. So that we can look from our powerful perspective. So now I'm working with the brothers in Texas, and we're going to do the same thing there with a ceremony. And hopefully we could do that wherever African people are. Let's identify space and time according to how we see it and where we are.
I mean, we got to do that with Philly. Maybe Cato City before Octavius Cato, or Richard Allen City, or that's
who I was named after. So I was named after Richard Allen. So
right. We got to do the same thing for Philly. We got to come up with a moniker for Philly. But we appreciate having you here. We love you, brother. Much continued success. How close we are. So, we're always going to be always in constant communication. Please go out and get this brother's material. The one and only Baba Richard Raw of Garvey City. Please, on all streaming platforms. You can go to his official website, and please support this brother and everything that he's doing. And I know, you and I are going to get together within the next couple of weeks, because we got the RBG Centennial Conference too. And I know you're going to be a part of that, as well as I'm going to be a part of that. And, Afrikan Independence Day as well. So
yeah, I can't wait for that. Before I leave, I do want to say this evening at 7:00, the National Black United Front is having their
right
as well. So I will be on there. We're talking specifically about police brutality. So I look forward to that, and also just saying thanks for having me. And also, I just want to recognize you kings for what you're doing. You don't realize it, but you're special to our community, all of you. And I've seen you put in that work. And I've been inspired by what I've seen. I've come back to Garvey City inspired to do even more. And I know that you do your Kwanzaa event. You're doing events all throughout the year. You're on it. You're posting. It's just a beautiful thing to see you're involved in so much. And so I just want to salute the brothers and say it's an honor that, I'm in your presence. It's an honor that I'm in your presence, and you work for African people. And I love you brothers dearly. You mean the world to me. And that is, I'm telling you, utmost respect and honor, brothers, for what you showed me, the ideal of a model African man, what an African man is supposed to do, how you treat your queens, how you move. You don't get frustrated when African Independence Day gets frustrating with all of the different people, different parts movement. And I know Oba, you get more frustrated than everybody. And I see Farugh and them, they're like, hey, we calm it down. So I watch, I've observed you, even when I know you don't think I look, but I'm just watching at how all of these characters come together and make it happen. I've always seen you make it happen. And because you are who you are, if I didn't get a chance to do more songs, I'm cool with that, because I'm looking at what's going on, and I'm like, this is in the best interest of African people. How dare I to cry about not being able, and I've never done that. I'm like, this is for African people. I appreciate you, brother.
Yo, man, I definitely thank you, man. And I reciprocate the same honor and love to you, brother. We also, I want to mention, we honored Richard and his queen recently at Black Love, and it was just a pleasure to have both of you there, and the honor to honor you two as a married couple and doing the work. So We respect you, brother. We love you, and I love your professionalism, man. Those videos are awesome.
Yes.
The production is excellent, top notch, man. You are a top notch artist with all of the professionalism that comes along with it.
Maybe we can close out the show with his newest video.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, so definitely we want to definitely talk about Afrikan Independence Day, and I want to give you all a little information on both the RBG Centennial Conference as well as the upcoming 100 years in the Whirlwind Conference that are coming up in August. It's going to be a powerful Black August this year, family. Virtually online, all three of these events. So we're going to talk about, once again, for those who missed it early in the show, Saturday, August the 1st, mark it down on your calendars, the 16th annual Afrikan Independence Day Maya Celebration 2020. Culture is our immune system. It will be live, virtual. It will be virtual. We will not have it at Malcolm X Park as we traditionally have had it for the past 15 years. It will be live virtually on YouTube through the Urban Shamans YouTube channel, as well as Due to Knowledge Radio YouTube channel from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. We will start off with a prelude to Afrikan Independence Day Maya Celebration 2020 right here on Sonic Ngoma that Saturday. And then we will be back on the air from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., both on the Urban Shamans channel as well as the Due to Knowledge Radio channel on YouTube for Afrikan Independence Day Maya Celebration 2020. We have the official flyer is out. It is circulating virtually on both Facebook as well as Instagram. You can, we'll give you all the information of where to go. If you do need any information on Afrikan Independence Day virtual, you can go to our official Afrikan Independence Day page at africanindependenceday.org. That's our official webpage, and get information there. And we will also have other information at the end of the show. Is there anything that Brother Farugh, Baba Farugh, or Baba Khamuo, y'all want to add on?
Well, looking forward to the next broadcast of the Sonic Ngoma next Saturday, 11 a.m. We'll be there. We'll post you on our upcoming guests, and we're going to leave out with this video.
Okay. Let me give them a little bit of information. Saturday, 1 week after Afrikan Independence Day, Saturday and Sunday, that is the dates of August the 8th and August the 9th, there will be the RBG Centennial Conference that is given by Brother Omawale Africa. He's organized the 100th. He's organized it in the name of the 100th anniversary of the African Liberation Flag, which was presented to us on in 1920, actually August 13th, 1920, at the National Convention of the UNIA, the Universal Negro Improvement Association African Communities League in New York, New York. This is 100th year of our flag, the red, the black, and the green. So we are having a conference those 2 days. Brother Baba Richard Raw will be a part of it. I just found out yesterday. I've been asked to also do a particular workshop at this webinar. The webinar's cost is $50 for both days. You can go to www.rbgcentennial.com. That's www.rbgcentennial.com. That is the official website for the conference for all information. A 2-day conference, Saturday, August the 8th and August the 9th. Then 1 week later, starting on Friday, August the 14th, August the 14th, August the 15th, and August the 16th, we will be having the 100th year in the Whirlwind Conference, given by my brother Alias, Kuji Jakalia, and Brother Bomani Mayasa of the group United Front have gotten together to organize their conference. we're all together. You know what I mean? We're all Africans who want the same thing, but they're two different conferences. They're both a week apart. The conference actually has early bird tickets at $25. You can go to www.dtc1.org. That's www.dtc1.org for your tickets, early bird tickets for the conference. And we want everybody to be involved in both conferences. If you can't be involved in both conferences, try to be at one. But it is a power-packed lineup. I'll talk a little bit more about the lineup and a little bit more about individuals who are part of both of these conferences next week. But definitely, we want you there. I know Brother Knowledge Born has a lot more information on the Whirlwind Conference, as there will be individuals who will be participating in Whirlwind Conference on Do the Knowledge Radio later on today. So we definitely want to talk about that. We definitely want to talk about that next week. But if you want to get with us for Afrikan Independence Day, the Afrikan Independence Day Organizing Committee, you can go to our official webpage, which is afrikanindependenceday.org. Once again, that's afrikanindependenceday.org. You can also email us at afrikanindependenceday@gmail.com. That's afrikanindependenceday@gmail.com. And you can also find out what we're doing on social media. You can get with us at the 16th annual Afrikan Independence Day Maya Celebration 2020 on Facebook. That's once again the 16th annual Afrikan Independence Day Maya Celebration 2020 on Facebook. And you can always get with us on Instagram, on IG at Afrikan_Independence Day. That's Afrikan_Independence Day. African is spelled AFRAKAN. So get in touch with us, as well as you can contact us by phone on our official phone business line at 267-521-1544. Once again, that's 267-521-1544. So with that, any closing comments, and we're out of here.
So I wanted to say unity is the real revolution. I mean, once we get unified, that's the revolution that we need to be concentrating on. That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. So for myself, Oba Oláyínká, for Khamuo Heru, for Farugh Maat, for Baba Richard Raw, for Let's Give the Drummer Some in the background, the one and only Knowledge Born Allah, the founder of Do the Knowledge Radio. We will see you next week at 11 a.m. for another edition of the Sonic Ngoma. Wukusu, Abibifahoodie, Abibitumi, Kuji Tiwala, Race First, Black Power. Love y'all. Peace.